Hello, good morning, everyone from year 5 and 6. It is Thursday, the 4th of June. We've nearly done another week. It's absolutely mad how quickly these weeks are going. So, today we're looking at how authors use the technique of show, not tell. So this is the idea that rather than, as we often do when we're sort of younger and not quite such experienced writers as you all are now, we often just say exactly what we want the reader to know about our character. So if our character is sad, we will say Tommy was sad. If our character is really happy, we'll write Caroline was very happy. But as we develop as writers, and as we are writing for an older audience as well, we need to be able to develop our characters without just always telling the reader what to think. We need to show them sometimes too. And we know that we use these show not tell techniques all the time. We use them in day-to-day life. It's the same as inference, really. It's this idea of you will know how your friends are feeling without them needing to tell you. You won't meet up with your friends on the playground the first time you see them again, and they won't necessarily say to you, I'm really sad, or I'm really happy today, or I feel a bit rubbish, or I've got a bad tummy. They might just, you'll know from the way they're acting, the way they're looking, the way they're moving, the way their voice sounds. And writers can use that technique too. So, just as we've been practicing, I'd like you to pause the video, read those 2 pages. It's a long chapter, chapter 4. So we're actually, today's lesson and tomorrow's lesson are all on chapter 4, but we're only looking at the first 4 pages today. So I'd like you to pause the video and read through that. And I'd like you to have a think about, as you're reading, where is the author showing me how the characters feel rather than just telling me? When you've read it, start the video up again and we'll have a quick chat about these 2 pages. Okay, so hopefully you've all read those 2 pages now. So one area where I think the author shows us how a character's feeling is just here. So Mum's voice was getting quieter and quieter. So how is that characterizing Mum in this instance? Her voice is getting quieter and quieter. That's normally a sign, I would say, of either someone who's very nervous and very shy, or someone who's getting increasingly angry. Because we always think that you just shout when you're angry, but actually not always. Sometimes when you're really genuinely angry, you sort of seethe, and that can make your voice get quieter. And we know enough about Mum's character and what's going on in the context here to know that she probably isn't shy and nervous. So it's more likely that she's getting more and more angry. Another good one, I turned away. I couldn't bear to watch. So how is somebody feeling if they're turning away, if they're turning their back from something? It's a sure sign that they're really fed up. They're just frustrated, they're annoyed, they can't be doing with it anymore. And that's exactly how Cameron's feeling there. But rather than the author just saying, rather than Mallory Blackman saying, Cameron felt fed up, she's showing us through his actions how he feels. This is one of my favourite bits. Favourite little bits of description. Mum's eyes narrowed, her voice chilled like liquid nitrogen. It's almost scary. She's so angry, so livid with what's going on. She's tightening her eyes and her voice is now icy cold. So that's an excellent bit of description there, I would say. This bit there. Then I'll sit there with a blank expression on my face and I won't say a word. Happy now? So, use of sarcasm. Sure, again, a surefire sign that somebody is getting annoyed. I replied, bitterness spilling out in my voice. So the idea that he's feeling quite bitter. He's feeling quite betrayed almost by the way that things are going. And then finally, this whole bit here. So I'm not going to talk about this bit. I'll let you write this down. So what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to write down in that section, and you can pick out key quotes. I've done a big section because I think it's all very good, but pick out key bits and write down what you think the author is showing there. This can be your practice for the main bit. So pause the video here, read over this large orange section that I've just highlighted, pick out key bits and tell me how you think, or what you think actually, the author is showing you there. How's Cameron feeling, or how's Dad feeling in this section? I think this is a really powerful bit in the story actually. So how are the characters feeling and how is the author showing you that? Okay, if you've started the video up again now, I'll just quickly go through what I think is happening here. So it's strange, isn't it? Because they are laughing and they're both laughing so much that their sort of bodies are shaking, and then suddenly it turns into tears. Now, as soon as you've got tears, obviously that suggests sadness. But the fact they were laughing first, it's almost this, it's called hysteria, Hysteria. This idea of hysteria, when the emotions are also, they're just too much. You don't know whether to laugh or cry. It's all overawing, it's overbearing, it's taking over you. You don't know how to feel, you don't know how to act. It's all just too much. And I think that's what this little section shows. Be interesting to see what you wrote there. Do send them in. Okay. I'm going to leave you with this last bit of the chapter. Well, not the last bit of the chapter. The chapter's much longer and we'll be on it again tomorrow. But I'm going to leave you with this bit. It's all we're looking at today. I'd like you to do exactly the same thing that we've done with the previous slides, the previous 2 pages. Read over it. I'd like you to write down any little quotes that you think are the author showing you how a character is feeling. And then next to that, write what's being shown. How is the character feeling? Okay, so that's how I'd like that set out, please. Little quote, dash, how the character's feeling. When you've done that for this page, get them all written down, scan it in, type it on Word, send it to us, however you get it to your teachers, but send them in, we'll have a look at that. That's the end of our tutorial today. I know it's a shorter video, but there's still plenty for you to be getting on with, and you need to read the bits as well. So it's longer when you keep pausing it, as I've asked you to read the certain bits. I'll be back with you tomorrow for Friday's tutorial, where we're going to look at the rest of chapter 4, and we're going to be looking at some inference questions tomorrow, which leads on quite nicely from this, because that's what an author is doing when they're showing you things rather than telling you. But for today, that is everything. Get that bit finished off, send your work in to us, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.